Hello and welcome to Board Game Gumbo. Today we are unboxing the Big Box expansion to Terraforming Mars with all that includes. So, let's get started. First of all, we've got a couple things here extra. First we have sleeves, a lot of sleeves. I think I know what I'm doing for the rest of the day. And we have the infamous cubes. So, if you have not seen this yet, these are the resource cubes for Terraforming Mars. Essentially, you're tracking your different resources in the game, whether that be electricity or heat or several different things. And this is how you do that. So the coppers are 1s, I believe. The silvers are 5s and the golds are 10s. However, somebody had the idea that they needed to bag all of these cubes individually. So I think there's 250 altogether. And I guess I could film myself opening cubes for an hour and a half, but let's not do that. Let's instead look at the box. So we do have the extra things in the box. You can get just this big box, or there are also extra pieces you can get. So this is just letting you know that we've got colony ships, the domes, and the rover inside the box. Let us find a spot where we can open this. So first of all, just a very impressive box. I mean, it's a nice box. It sits very nicely together. The nice seal there. I like the artwork. I like how they did the bars on the top and the bottom. It's very nice. Let's open it up. All right, so if you've never played Terraforming Mars before, it is about, surprisingly enough, terraforming Mars. And you're gonna do that through a couple different ways, but one of them is by increasing the oxygen level of Mars to the point where it's breathable. And to do that, you're gonna put out these, or at least part of the way you do that, is by putting out these tree tiles onto the game board. The game board itself are these hex shapes. And there's a little spot in the middle where you'll put your player cube to say that you put that tree tile out there because they are worth points at the end of the game. Now in the base game, these are just cardboard tokens, little green cardboard tokens that have a picture of trees on them. And obviously that's not the case here. We've got some 3D modeled pieces. We actually have more than one sculpt, which is nice. They've got a nice height to them as well, so they're not flat. They actually look like trees, which is pretty cool. Not necessary, but definitely cool. More of those. Cities. You can also build cities throughout the course of the game. Those will score you victory points as well as certain other things. Again, everything's going to be in a hex, and everything's going to have a little spot for you to put your player cube on. But again, I mean, multiple sculpts, so they're not all the same. They're interesting. They've got differing levels of height to them, so they're not flat. So far, I'm impressed. And then here, we've got some specialty tokens. So there are a couple events and also cards that you can play throughout the course of the game, which will do special things, allow you to put out these special tokens, like this one, when you set off a nuke. You completely irradiate a zone, and now you get to put, I want to play this card now just so I get to put out this figure. That's the next game I play. All I want is this card, because that's fun. More tokens here for different things. That just looks like another forest, but it's a forest and a city. I'm sure that's one of the special events, but I probably can't recall. I think that's the iron mine. Could be wrong. But a lot of just uniquely sculpted, really interesting. Like this one, it's 2 different color plastics, obviously, but they could have just painted it. Instead, they actually made 2 levels to it. I guess that's a silo or something, but it's cool. We've also got water tiles, because that's another thing you can do while terraforming Mars, is you can essentially create bodies of water by bringing it in, and that will increase, I think it helps increase the temperature, if I'm not mistaken. We've also got some different pieces. I believe these just track the different conditions on the board. So while you're playing, there's a lot of things going on. You know, the temperature is going up and down, the oxygen levels going up and down, or typically just up. But so you have all these little tokens, like this is gonna obviously track the temperature. So instead of in the base game, I think again, it was just a cardboard piece, you've now got this 3D modeled piece to track all of those different things. So that's cool. Let's see if we got anything else in here that we particularly want to look at. So another one of our trackers here. And just more really interesting sculpted bases for the different specialties things. All right, what else do we have here? We've got some cardboard to put together. It's a 3D piece. Looks like it's for an organizer. We've got trays upon trays to put all your new hex pieces in. Make them a little easier to get around. I really like the fact that they have these finger wells in the corner here. Some people don't do that, and getting stuff out of a box, especially when it exactly fits the dimensions of the box, is not fun. What else we got here? Some packing material. We've got player boxes. So this is just going to be for the different player colors. Put your starting stuff in. So instead of having to hand somebody a bag or, you know, find pieces from 3 different areas, you just hand them this. We got our rover. I believe the rover is the first player icon. That is a big first player icon. It's cool, but that may be the biggest first player icon I've ever seen. I'll take it. What else we got? We have some domes. So these are for, I believe, the colonies, which is an expansion. But basically you can put domes over the cities, which is kind of interesting. So if you're making cities out on the moon, you put these little domes on them. And then what do we have here? These are the fleet ships. So again, I believe these are specifically for some of the expansions. So the base game, I don't think you'd use these, but if you have some of the expansions, you would. And they've got spots for little cubes in them as well. These are pretty cool. I wish I knew a little bit more about their interaction with the game. Unfortunately, I don't. Most of my experience with Terraforming Mars just comes with the base game. But these are cool. I almost want to steal them for Battlestar Galactica. What else do we have here? Some more organizers for pieces, cubes, I would assume. We have a nice box here for organizers. So we got some organizers for all our cards now. Oh, and look at that. They're actually, that's nice. Actually tell you what they're used for. So these would be for the base game and then the different expansions. That's cool. These are just cardstock. They're nice cardstock. They're a little thick. There's some organizers that I've seen before that are almost like plastic, almost like a credit card quality to them. These aren't that, but they are nice. They are double-sided. And I especially like that they tell you what expansion they come from. What do we got here? Got some more cards. So these are probably promos. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that these are promos, because I know that Terraforming Mars has quite a few promos over the years that it's been out. They put out a new set of, 2 or 3 or 4 every expansion. So I'm assuming that these are just all those promos together. That way you don't have to go hunt them all down. I mean, if you're willing to spend the money to get something this size, the least they can do is, throw in all the promos so you don't have to go looking for them. I really like this box though. I mean, I am impressed with everything I've seen so far. It's very nice. So we got another box here. Okay, so here's where the finger wells would have helped as well. If they had, I know it's probably hard to do because this is obviously for your cards, but this is not easy to get out. Okay, there we go. That is a large box that will be full of cards once I sleeve them. So hopefully today, we shall see. So let me just double check, make sure they're not hiding anything. Oh, we got another organizer on the bottom, just for random things. I don't know exactly what that's for, but that's it. That's everything in the new big box expansion for Terraforming Mars. I will be sleeving all this and putting it back together in the box, and I'll give you a look at that once I'm done. All right, we're back and we got everything sleeved, put together. So let's get everything back into this box. And while we do that, we'll look at the organizer and how it all works out. Bottom line, not perfect, but very nice. So let's start with this bottom tray that just has random assortment of pieces, your milestone achievements, planets, your ships, and a void here, which is going to be for our event cards. Let me put those in real quick. Here are our event card and our new sleeves, which are, I think, nicer than the original back. These sleeves are very nice, fit the cards extremely well, and probably most importantly, they are matte. So all these backs for all of them are matte. And especially in a game like this where you're stacking a lot of cards, you have big piles of cards, that's a big bonus and a very smart move on the part of Stronghold. There's our sort of bottom layer there. All right, next, we've got sort of our player pieces here. Now, before we go on to this one, there's a couple things. One is the cubes. So we did get the metal cubes, which we have here. They come in 2 of these really nice organizers. So you can have one for each side of the board. Very nice. I will show you at least the difference between the plastic and the metal cubes. So I don't know exactly how well that shows up on camera, but these are plastic and these are metal. There's obviously a difference to them. There's a sheen difference. The metal look flatter. The plastic are more glossy. And obviously there's a weight difference. These are significantly heavier than these. All right, so these just go back in the little organizer here. We have our little boxes for our little player pieces, our little gems. This is not part of the game. This is just little 3D astronauts that we printed out to keep score. But just a nice little box to hand to each player so you don't have to deal with anything else. There's a void here. That's for the base game cardboard hexes, which I'm not going to keep in here. I don't see a reason to. So for now, I'm going to leave that empty. And then we have this card box. And this card box is one of the few downsides to this organizer because the cards don't fit. They won't sit flat. Like, to get them to sit flat, I'd have to put a considerable amount of pressure on them. So they got to sit a little cockeyed, which is not great, obviously. We got some extra cards here, some extra organizers. You're supposed to use these organizers to organize these cards that are in here, but for one, there aren't a bunch of them, so I don't really need it. And secondly, I used more than I should have in the main card box just because I like them. So I prefer them in the main card box. These are Prelude cards, and the back of them and the new sleeves is pretty much the same back as the original card. It's got a different coloration to it, which I actually prefer. And the picture itself is cropped more to the left, but still, they look nice. So I'm not complaining. I just, it's really unfortunate when you get a card box that is not going to sit cards properly. That's just, I don't know what happened there, but that was a mistake. But this goes like so, and then sits in that spot right there. And we can set all of this on top, like so. Now we get to the main card box, which is here. And I have used more organizers than is necessary to organize this. You can probably see that here. So I think you're just supposed to use one of these. I used two, the start and the beginning and the end, just because I felt like it. We have main deck cards. So the backs of these have probably changed maybe the most. I like them both ways. I don't love one or the other. So it's not a change that I'm particularly concerned about. These are the corporation cards, and I really like the change to the back of these. That's a really nice card back. So happy for that. We also have these two little wedges on the side, and the way these work is when you play, you take your lid here and you put the wedge at the base of it. And now you can basically set a stack of cards in there and they won't fall over because that wedge is keeping them in. So now this is your draw stack for your game, instead of having to have a big stack of cards on the table. So that's kind of interesting. I'd have to play a couple times to know like if it's something that I really care enough to use every game, but it's interesting, it's different. I appreciate the fact that they did it. And it also fits into this box. And that's nice because it's a little bit higher than the organizers. So your box lid is gonna fall onto those ramps instead of smashing into your cards. But that is the main card box. And that is gonna go right here, which is a little, okay, that went in a lot easier than it came out. Next we have player boards, which is just gonna sit right here. So these are the upgraded dual layer player boards. I highly recommend you get a set if you like this game, if you've played it and you enjoy it, because the originals just don't really cut it. But these should fit right here. Looks like this board is a little too long. There we go. Let's see if that'll fit on top. There we are. Okay. Lastly, we have, or second to last, we have all our hexes that are now in. So those little bubble shields that we're looking at go on the cities, like so. Not necessary probably, but look a little more interesting that way. We had 3 extra spots. They gave us these 3 cardboards. I don't even know if these are duplicates or what, but there were 3 spots left, so I'll put them in there. The water tiles, I think if you have any sort of inclination towards painting, the water tiles would be the ones I would start with. Just a light dry brushing to just bring out the waves. There is texture in it, but it's hard to see the texture. So that's the ones I would start on. And the only one that doesn't fit is the A-bomb one, the mushroom cloud one. You gotta take this piece off and just store it somewhere else. But otherwise, everything fits. And that just pops in like that. Actually, this is the top one. The next one is here with all of our greenery pieces. And then this one. And finally, our game boards and our whole collection of rule books. I will also point out that in the sleeve pack they give you, there are extras. There are extras of every type. This one, you almost get an entirely new, entirely leftover pack, which is like 50 cards, which is nice because that's the biggest deck and the most likely one that you're gonna tear a sleeve or have extras after the fact. And then for the other types, you've got, you know, a handful of extra ones, but that's nice to have. And finally, our lid, which is not on straight. Try that again. There we go. Gotta match up that art on the sides too. And that's it. That is the big box for Terraforming Mars. Now you can get all of your content into one box that's very heavy and will sit awkwardly on your shelf.